What's up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to the NFL Pre-Lock Show. We got two games on this fine Saturday winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Extra short if you're here in Saskatchewan, Canada, like I am. My name is TJ Zwarych, joined by my guy, Shiver Me Timbo, TastefulTides. Tim Buell, how you doing, Tim?
Yeah, I'm doing well, TJ. I am curious, how many hours of daylight do you actually get on a day like today?
I'm not like, without looking up the specifics, I would say sun rises at about 9 a.m. and sun sets about 5 p.m.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
pretty short, but not specific. It might be a little shorter, a little longer. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, sunrise is probably like 7:30, but it's dark here by definitely by 4:30. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's probably like ours are probably around the same time for us here.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
We got two games today. We got the Houston Texans going to the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going to see the Baltimore Ravens. Despite it only being two games, I feel like we have a decent amount of options. It's a pretty fun slate for it only being a two-game slate. Happy holidays to everybody watching. I know a lot of my as a former teacher, I know for my teachers and a lot of other people today feels like the first kind of official day of holidays. So happy holidays to you. And all we ask for some free content on a Saturday is that you smash that like button. Help us battle the YouTube algorithm, get in front of as many eyes as we can. Smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. We got an NBA show later today. Timmy, you back for that one?
For the NBA show later today, I am. I think it's going to be you, myself, and Will.
Perfect. Me, you, and Will back for NBA today. We got the typical Sunday NFL show tomorrow. Tim and Dean starting you off in the morning. We got Eric and Neil coming after that with myself and Will leading you right up until lock. So we got a lot of fun stuff planned. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Two games. First up, what do you think of just kind of general thoughts on Houston and KC?
Yeah, I mean, general thoughts on Houston, KC. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I think it kind of begins and ends with Nico Collins and kind of what you do with him. Just because, I mean, we'll talk about it, but the wide receiver position is kind of not great, and Nico is far and away the most expensive wide receiver, and so it's definitely going to be interesting to see like what we do with him. The field's going to be on him heavily. I don't think he's a must play, but yeah, because I mean this Kansas City defense is pretty strong. So this game to me is the inferior of the two games. I like the Pitt Baltimore game way more in terms of individual plays and game stacks. I'm interested to see where the field goes with this game. I mean, we know that Nico's going to be super popular. We know that Mixon is going to be popular as well. I'm really interested to see what happens with the KC side of things, whether it be getting to guys like Mahomes, who's supposedly hurt, but I mean, we'll see if that even matters or not. I'm interested to see what the field does with Pacheco also, and guys like Kelsey and Gray. I mean, that whole Kansas City side to me is, I think the ownership's really going to spread out. I don't think there's going to be a lot of condensed ownership on that Kansas City side. So if you have conviction, I guess what I would say about Kansas City, if you have conviction on a player, I would say roll with it, because I don't think Kansas City is going to get a whole lot of ownership.
Pardon me, I got up the hiccups right now. So if you're hearing weird noises, that's what that was. I think if I were to have conviction on anybody, we'll get to it when we go position by position, but maybe for Kansas City, maybe an Xavier Worthy. He's been getting more involved each and every week. Imagine saying this last year, like, yeah, Houston and Kansas City, nah, not really interested, but Baltimore and Pittsburgh, that's where I want to go to today. Baltimore and Pittsburgh have a history of really slow, slog it out defensive games. Not quite how those teams are maybe this year, but they faced once already. And surprisingly, that is ended up what we got. But I'm on the same page as you. If you're choosing one, you're only playing one. There's a $300 difference on FanDuel, $400 difference on DraftKings. You go in with Mixon or Nico Collins?
Well, currently I have Mixon. I'm actually currently fading Nico in single entry, which could end up being absolutely horrible. But I'm electing to pay up at running back. So right now I have Mixon over Nico.
See, and I'm going the other route today. I'm going Nico over Mixon. Chiefs just so good against the run. Now I get Mixon is so involved that it might not matter because he could catch 6-7 passes and fall into the end zone regardless, and then end up being well into the optimal rate. So with very few, we got a few specific spend ups on the slate and not that much else with basically Nico Collins, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and that's kind of it. What are your thoughts on this next game, the Steelers and Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, this is the game that I'm currently stacking heavily. So I'm getting to multiple pieces of Baltimore. I'm bringing it back with a couple pieces of Pittsburgh. I think, I mean, I know he's going to be the highest owned, and I know he's the most expensive, but Lamar is, I think, like a really, really high conviction play for me. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of interest in Mahomes. I could see playing CJ Stroud, but I really don't have that much interest in Stroud either. And then Russell Wilson, without Pickens, I don't really like his ceiling very much. So I really just am just purely playing Lamar. If he's going to be like around 50% owned on DK, I would probably get overweight that if I was MME, and I'd probably play him closer to like 75 to 80. I just think that he has so many different ways that he can beat you. If he does end up, getting that long run, that's like, that's provides so much to his floor. So, I mean, I think he's by far the superior play at QB. So Lamar to me is like a must play in any format, any contest size. And then I'm going to pair him with Derrick Henry just because I'm kind of going like a Baltimore onslaught kind of strategy in my single entry team. Derrick Henry hasn't had like an amazing box score in the last couple of weeks, but I mean, he's still getting a reasonable average on his attempts. So I think Derrick Henry at 8,000 is a completely fine play as well. And then I really like if you think this game stays close, I think Justice Hill is a fantastic GPP play. He's really, really cheap. He should get all the like third and long work. So, I mean, if this game stays close or if Baltimore is somehow trailing in the second half, Justice Hill, I think is super, super interesting GPP play. I don't think I would play Henry and Hill together, but I do think if you want to save at running back, I think Hill's a really interesting GPP play.
All right, let's start going position by position here. We'll kind of cover DraftKings and FanDuel both together. So if you have questions about either of them, absolutely let us know, because we don't have any issue covering both of these, but it's such a small slate. It's pretty easy to kind of go two of them at the same time. How many lineups are you playing tonight?
I'm just playing one on each right now.
I got 6 on DK, not personally going any on FanDuel myself. Who are you prioritizing on? Like, I know you said you like Lamar Jackson. He's projected.
I mean, QB, yeah, QB to me,
same ownership right now.
Yeah, QB to me was actually it was probably my easiest decision, was just to play Lamar. So that's the way that I'm going today on both sites. Pretty big gap on DK, but on FanDuel, I think those prices are, I mean, only 1,200 more than Mahomes, 1,400 more than Russell. It's like so easy to play Lamar. I'm not going to goof around. I'm playing Lamar on both sites.
Yeah, Lamar is my main guy. I don't know why I said 6. I meant I'm playing 8 lineups today. I have 4 of them with Lamar. I have 2 Mahomes lineups. I have 2 Russell Wilson lineups. I went without CJ Stroud, which is a little scary, but he just has not looked good this year. And I like the way my lineups look better with the other 3 quarterbacks as opposed to Stroud. I'm playing a ton of Nico Collins a little bit of Joe Mixon, not really getting to their other pass catchers. And on FanDuel, I agree with you. Like it's Lamar Jackson by an even wider margin than it is on DraftKings. The price difference is nowhere near and big. I would go Lamar 1, Mahomes 2, Wilson 3, Stroud 4 over there. But without the lack of price difference, like it would be very difficult for me not to get to Lamar. I would be probably, if I was playing 20 lineups on FanDuel, I might just play 20 of them with Lamar Jackson. More than that is probably where I start differentiating. Running back position, we have two guys up top. Who's your priority between Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon? Right now, Mixon's got a little bit higher of an optimal rate on DraftKings. He's also coming in a little bit higher owned. On FanDuel, we see Henry as the one who's in a little bit better of a position where we don't get a point per reception.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So on FanDuel, Derrick Henry is going to be my priority. Completely fine if people want to pivot down to Mixon, but where on FanDuel touchdowns are much more, advantageous. Henry is certainly going to be the play over there. Again, it's kind of, I'm kind of playing this game as a Baltimore, dominates the tempo, dominates the score. So I think Jaylen Warren is a really interesting play at 5,300 on FanDuel. He's also 5,200 on DK as well. So I mean, I really do like getting to like Jaylen Warren bring back. Again, if you think this game is reversed and the Steelers are playing from ahead, then you're going to want to get to some Justice Hill. I don't know what to do about this whole Pacheco and Kareem Hunt thing. I mean, they split the carries and plays right down the middle last week. So between Pacheco and Hunt. So I don't know if I really have a whole lot of interest in paying $6K for Pacheco. I think if anything, I'd rather play the Pittsburgh backs or Justice Hill.
Yeah, I think that's fair in this spot. I am getting to more Pacheco just because I feel like at some point they're probably going to let him take the lead a little bit. Now that may be playoffs. That's the thing. That may not happen until the literal playoffs. But Pacheco, I am getting to just because I feel like he's a pretty electric back. I like the Chiefs running backs to score points, one of them more than probably any of the other running back core sets in the on the slate here outside of Derrick Henry. So Henry is my priority. Pacheco I'm getting to the second most. I am getting to Mixon specifically in my Mahomes teams. I'm not getting to him outside of that. I like the Jaylen Warren and Justice Hill call, though, for tournaments, especially on DraftKings. DraftKings specifically. FanDuel, I think they're fine anyways because it's a 2-game slate. But DraftKings specifically, Jaylen Warren and Justice Hill, I think both look really strong here. Not messing around with anybody outside of Hill, Hunt, Warren, Pacheco, Harris, Henry, Mixon. Even though it's only a 2-game slate, I don't think you got to try for the Ogunbowale or Damian Pierce. We're just sticking with the main guys today. Receiver position. This is to me where things get interesting. We have Nico Collins all the way up the top, and then no one else up top. Everyone else is mid-range or cheap. Zay Flowers looks pretty good. Worthy and Hopkins look fine. But wait a minute. Hollywood Brown is going to play his very first game of the season for the Chiefs. He's probably going to be heavily limited. He's probably not going to get a lot of snaps. But he's 3K, Tim. All he needs is a catch or two at 3K. What are you doing at receiver, and specifically Hollywood Brown? What are you doing with the 3K Hollywood Brown?
I am actually currently playing Hollywood Brown on my single entry team. So I am considering pivoting off of him to play like Van Jefferson, maybe. So I'm not 100, or even Robert Woods, I think is someone interesting. And he should Robert Woods should come in lower owned than Hollywood Brown. So I might pivot to Robert Woods. But right now I do have Hollywood Brown at 3K in my single entry team. So I mean, considering there's only 4 teams on this slate, there are a lot of different ways you can go about playing wide receiver. Obviously, Nico Collins is the best raw point play. That's not even, it's not even close really, but I am currently fading Nico Collins. I'm going to try to go with Zay Flowers at 5,900. Like I said, I'm trying to overstack this Baltimore side on this slate, so I'm prioritizing Zay Flowers. I really like Xavier Worthy today. They've really been featuring him more. I'm curious where the field goes between Worthy and Hopkins. It's looking pretty even right now, but I prefer getting to Worthy over Hopkins. And then Calvin Austin on both sites, I think, is your best kind of like cash game optimal value play at 3,800 on DK and 5,500 on FanDuel. So I mean, I think Austin is a really, really strong play. He should come with some ownership. That's the only thing. And then we do have Bateman projected in. We had a question about that in the chat. Bateman is projected to play. I'm not sure
No
if he's going to be.
but we're projecting.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be limited or not. I would assume if he sits, it would end up being a really good spot for Tylan Wallace, most likely. So I mean, keep an eye out for that news. That would also probably boost usage for guys like Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So I would definitely keep an eye out on that.
I like it. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. I am too getting to a little bit of Hollywood Brown today. 3K flat, just so cheap. Even if he barely plays, like he's probably going to play 25, 30% of snaps. But I feel like when he is taking those snaps, they're going to be trying to get him the ball. Like they're going to be utilizing him when he is out there. So it's a bit of a risky guess, but Hollywood Brown is someone that I am looking to get overweight to today in tournaments. Let's go over to tight end. It's a weirdly strong tight end slate for 2 games. Like we have a lot of playable tight ends considering it's only 2 games. Kelsey, Freiermuth without Pickens has been playing well. Noah Gray has been a tight end 1, and Kelsey's kind of been like a more of a receiver. Like Noah Gray is playing a ton of snaps. They're running a ton of 2 tight end personnel. He's getting 4 catches a game, 6 targets a game, red zone looks. Mark Andrews has been lights out since his super slow start to the year. Patrick Ricard is out for Baltimore, so Isaiah Likely is getting increased snaps, and I think he's super interesting for tournaments. Darnell Washington gets looks for Pittsburgh without George Pickens out there. Dalton Schultz is projecting decently well, but he's kind of the only one of this group I don't want to play.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this position is very oddly strong given how few games we have. I really like Mark Andrews today. Like I said, I'm just going all out on Baltimore. I think Likely is a really, really strong pivot off of Andrews. I think Pat Freiermuth, I imagine that Pittsburgh is to be playing from behind. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So Freiermuth would be in a really, really good game stripped against this Baltimore secondary. And then I'm out on Kelsey, but I'm certainly not going to tell anybody that they can't play Kelsey. I mean, he's got the highest opto rate. He's showing positive leverage in our Sims tool. So I think, I mean, obviously, can't argue with that. But I'm currently out on Kelsey and trying to save a little bit of money here. I think that double tight end builds on the slate make a ton of sense because the position is so strong.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm getting to a lot of 2 tight end builds today myself. I have some Andrews and Likely together. I have some Kelsey and Gray together, doing a couple things with that tight end position to try and get my lineups a little bit different on a 2-game slate.
Yeah, I mean, in Sims right now, it's showing getting to tight end into the flex position at 59%. So I mean, that's well ahead of any other position in Sims. So tight end in flex is simming fantastic right now.
Who's your favorite on FanDuel where the prices aren't that different from each other? You know, like Noah Gray to Travis Kelce, who's not almost $2,400, makes a pretty big difference in your lineup. Noah Gray to Travis Kelce on FanDuel, it's only $1,100.
I think Pat Fryermuth is probably my favorite, just because of the game script that I'm utilizing. Certainly, Kelsey and Andrews could easily outscore him, but I think Fryermuth is my favorite tight end.
If you got any questions, get them in the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. I'll look there first, then I'll be looking at the YouTube chat. YouTube, smash that like button for us while you're waiting for us to get to the YouTube questions. Defense, play whoever you want. Defense doesn't matter. Defense is super lucky. Any of these defenses could luck into a fumble recovery touchdown. They could block a punt that gets back. Play anybody you want at the defense position. I think if you're looking for a cash defense, it's probably the Chiefs. But Baltimore is perfectly fine there too. Those are the two kind of closer to optimal ones. But Mahomes has been getting sacked a ton this year. You can play Houston. Pittsburgh is one of the best defenses in the league, even though they're facing a really tough Baltimore offense. You can play them as well. Plus, like I said, anybody can luck into a very easy huge score just from a random fumble recovery, a tipped pass, something like that. If you want to play some player props today, you should get the expert picks for all your favorite sites with Props and Pick'em. Our elite sports betting and fantasy pick'em package features bets and analysis from your favorite RotoGrinders experts. Props and Pick'em also includes tools and data provided by our hardworking projections team. Don't make a bet without it. You can take those props and pick 'em plays that you see on the site, and you can take them over to Splash Sports. If you haven't signed up for Splash Sports yet, now is the time. Use promo code ROTO10. They have a big college football contest, which I'm assuming has now started, with 11 total games that is locking on Friday night. So yeah, last night, but you can still take that ROTO10 promo code and take it over to the Quick Picks and get some money back on your Quick Picks plays. So make sure you head over and do that as well. Also, RotoGrinders Combo Premium right now, $79.99, $5 more than NBA Combo Premium. So you can still get some NFL, some college football here at the end of the season for only $5 more than the NBA package. So definitely check that out as well. Smash the like button. Let's get some questions. We got about 20 minutes to lock. We have a ton of QQs. We will stay till the QQs are gone. If not, we'll get out of here a little early, give you some time to build your lineups ahead of this 2-game slate. What do you think about some Irv Smith today?
Yeah, I did see that comment in chat. I think really anything goes on the slate. So if you want to take a chance, take a risk, I say go for it. I mean, it's very, very, very unlikely that will work out, but we've seen crazier things win 2-game slates.
Yeah, exactly. Tyler wants our Feel It in the Plums play of the day. I think we could do that. It's a 2-game slate. It's not a showdown, but we could still give our slate breaking plays today. No Lamar Jackson, no Derrick Henry or Joe Mixon. Who do you think is breaking the slate today?
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Justice Hill.
You know, this kind of fits that build set, but I'm going to go. It feels maybe a little too sneaky, but I think Isaiah Likely is going to have himself a day today. And I think we get a Likely slate breaking performance.
I like that because I really do think it's going to be one of these auxiliary pieces from Baltimore that breaks the slate. So I do like that pick quite a bit.
Diego Torres says he's playing cash today on FanDuel. He's got 4 wide receiver build in Mahomes. He's not sure what to do. Well, you got to get Lamar Jackson in there. Lamar Jackson is a must play today in cash games. Yep. He is a cash game staple on FanDuel, as is Derrick Henry. You want to get both of those for sure to save salary at running back. You can look at somebody like Isaiah Pacheco, who's got a really nice price tag on FanDuel. At the receiver position, you can play some Xavier Worthy at 6,400. You probably want to get Nico Collins and Zay Flowers in there too, though. Tight end, you can save salary with Freiermuth. You can go all the way down further than that if you want, and then just play a cheap defense. But you need Lamar Jackson in cash games today.
Yeah, I don't think you actually need Nico in cash on FanDuel. That's just my take on FanDuel. But that you definitely have to play Lamar in cash, 100%, and Derrick Henry.
The only reason I would worry a little bit is because Nico Collins is projected to be the highest owned play on all of FanDuel, and so that would worry me about maybe being like the only one in cash who's not playing him. But with that expensive price tag, I definitely hear you for sure. What else do we got here? Chris Longo says somebody from the Steelers wide receiver group is going to have a big game for them to win. Who do you think steps up, if anyone? Calvin Austin, Mike Williams, and Van Jefferson. Or I think they have like one more random one too.
Yeah, or it could be Pat Freiermuth also.
Yeah.
Right. And I am a little bit worried about Calvin Austin's overall ownership. He probably is going to be a little bit overowned today. I'm not saying he can't have a good game, but he is going to be probably the most popular out of those cheapies. I don't mind taking a pivot and going down to Van Jefferson just to get off of some ownership. So I think I would vote for Van Jefferson in like a large field GPP.
All right. I think Calvin Austin would be my favorite, but if I am looking for a pivot, I think I would probably go Mike Williams on that one. To me, favorite MVP on the Kansas City and Houston game for tournaments.
That's a showdown question, right?
Yeah, showdown question. No problem. If you guys got showdown questions, get all of them in there. No problem at all. I think my favorite MVP for that game, I guess Mahomes. I think Mahomes would probably be my favorite. Optimally speaking, maybe mix into large field tournaments, I would want to go Nico Collins. What about you?
I was going to say large field tournaments. I'd like to go CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Mahomes is probably my favorite, optimal. And then I would go Mixon, and then I think Stroud would be like the guy to get different with. But Nico's fine too.
Diego Torres says that was a showdown cash question he was talking about as well, just Texans and Chiefs. And yeah,
so cash.
Nothing wrong with that in cash.
Yeah, no, that's fine in cash.
Mahomes, I do think, is your MVP in cash games over there.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Longo. Ben Skoranek, that's the fourth receiver.
That was
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I think he's getting a decent amount of snaps too. Couple season-long questions. Joe Mixon, Ramondre Stevenson. That is Joe Mixon by so much. DJ Moore or Joe Mixon? Still Joe Mixon. How much money are you looking to leave on the table today in a DK GPP to get different? I think there are ways you can get different without leaving a ton of salary on the table. My most that I'm leaving on the table today in 8 lineups is $700. What are you leaving on the table, and what would be your max?
Yeah, so I mean, I was just looking at the 150 teams that I simmed out before the show, and there are a couple actually with like 1,200s remaining that look pretty darn good. So I would say around a little over 1,000 would be okay in my mind.
What do you think about Juju Smith-Schuster today?
Oh, I don't love it. Let me see how I don't think he's simming all that well either. I don't know. I mean, like I said, anything goes in a 2-gamer, but
especially in a showdown too, if that was for showdown.
Yeah, showdown probably that would be okay, but I don't love it.
Yeah, that's kind of the same page that I'm on as well. Don't need it, but if you're looking to get very different somewhere, that is a play that's going to be going quite low owned today. I'm going to go back to the FanDuel pricing for Showdown just to take a peek at it since so many people are playing it today. And just to see some salary savers that I'd want to be making sure that I would play in a cash game setting. Dalton Schultz at 8K, or actually, no, Noah Gray at 8K would be my priority salary saver. Both of the kickers, Butker at 85, Fairbairn at 9, look like nice prices, as do Pacheco and Hunt. So I'd be looking to spend up for Mahomes, Nico Collins, maybe even Mixon as well. And then
I like Robert Woods at 6K also.
Robert Woods at 6K is fine. The way that I'd be looking at cash games over there is I think I probably want to play Mahomes, Mixon, and Nico because it leaves me 8,250 for my last two positions. I can get tight ends, I can get Butker, I can get a Chiefs defense. It leaves with a lot of strong options over there. Let's make a quick peek over to Splash Sports /RotoGrinders homepage. Use code ROTO10, and you can get some quick picks for this game as well. Do you have anything that has stood out to you with an early look, a bet or a player prop that you might like for today's game?
What do they have for Nico receptions?
6.5.
All right, I'm gonna go the less
than on the Nico receptions. All right, I want to kind of go over to the Mixon rush yards, 63.5. I'd love to go lower than on that just because it's the Chiefs, but it is difficult. I still think I want to go Mixon lower. Actually, you know what? Instead, I want to go Mixon more than 3.5 receptions because I think this is a game that he's going to have to be catching the ball a decent amount. Do you have a potential third that we might want to throw in here? Something from the Chiefs or one of the other games?
Do they do rush attempts at Splash?
Yes. Yeah.
What do they have for Pacheco?
Oh, I believe this is one Blender and I looked at earlier in the week.
Yeah.
12.5 rush attempts. I do actually like more than that. Because we were looking, it was 14.5 before, and we were looking at less than. But at 12.5, I do like the idea of going more than that.
Okay, yeah, I was hoping it was still like 14.5. I was gonna go lower, but what about
this? Would correlate very well with what we have in there, but
that is a good point. If you want to go that way, that's fine.
But what other ones did you have in mind?
Did you take a Mixon rushing yards?
Mixon receiving receptions.
Okay, and I like the over on Xavier Worthy receptions.
He has been playing a ton of snaps. The only thing we're potentially worried about is the return of Hollywood Brown, but he's probably not going to get a lot of snaps. 3.5 receptions for Xavier Worthy. I like that. Let's throw it in there right now. Why not? Yep. We got Worthy 3.5 receptions, Mixon 3.5 receptions, Nico Collins less than 6.5. I like it. What's the DraftKings cash game core today? Well, cash game core on DraftKings, I think you're looking at Lamar Jackson for sure. You're picking one at least of Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry. I prefer Derrick Henry. You give in cash. Would you want Henry or Mixon?
I guess if I had to pick one, probably would be Henry, but I don't mind playing both.
Yeah, nothing wrong with both by any means. I just you got to make sure you get at least one, and I agree, it's Derrick Henry. You're playing one of Mixon or Collins, because if you're either probably playing Mixon and Henry both together, or you're playing Nico Collins and Henry. Maybe you can get to all three if you want to. I think crazier things have been done, but Zay Flowers is a cash game priority today. Tight end, Travis Kelce projects the best, but I think you can save salary here. Pat Freiermuth looking like a really good option. That's kind of your cash core of guys on DraftKings today. What do you think about CJ Stroud over pass attempts? What's he listed at today on Splash? You can get Stroud for 33.5 passing attempts for Stroud. Let me see. Do you want to check what he's projected for in RotoGrinders, and I'll check the Blitz super quick?
Yep.
In the Blitz, he's got 36.4, so the over looks decent. What do you got for him on the RotoGrinders projections?
33.5.
So probably one I'd leave, not really one I think I'd want to go to. But if you are going to pick one of them, I would err on the over side of things in that one. Steve Jones says Mixon has 100 rush yards, at least 100 rush yards in every road game this season. Fair, but not many of those road games this season were against the Kansas City Chiefs, the number one rush defense in the NFL. Somebody says Mixon, Pacheco, and Tracy in half PPR for season long. Which guys am I starting if I have to pick two? Mixon, you are absolutely starting. So Tyrone Tracy or Isaiah Pacheco?
I'd go Tracy.
I think that's fine. I think I would go Pacheco, but nothing wrong with Tracy there. At least with going Tracy too, you give yourself a little extra time. You give yourself an extra day in case somebody gets ruled out going in tomorrow. Maybe you can pick somebody up. Somebody looks a little nicer. Is Jaylen Warren in the MVP spot with over Justice Hill with Henry in my lineup a good idea? No, I don't think. I think Jaylen Warren in the MVP is a little too crazy on FanDuel. Maybe as a captain on DraftKings where you get the salary savings by putting him at captain, but at MVP where there's no salary multiplier on FanDuel, don't think you need to go there. We got about 6 minutes left to lock. That is it for QQs. If you got any more questions, get them in quick. If not, we'll get out of here about 5 minutes early, just in time for NFL lock. Get your lineups in, build, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a spot on the couch to watch some Saturday football. You can go back and forth between college and NFL. AJ Brown or DJ Moore in season long, guys. It's AJ Brown. It's fantasy playoff. You're not benching Joe Mixon. You're not benching AJ Brown. You're playing your stars in fantasy playoffs. If they bust, if a worst case scenario they randomly bust, well, you're living by the sword and you're dying by the sword. These are the guys that got you there. These are the guys you're playing. We're not benching our studs in season long. So AJ Brown, Joe Mixon, both of those guys, make sure you get them in there. Even though someone like DJ Moore is fine, we're not benching our studs for those guys today. That'll do it for this week. Happy holidays if we don't see you again before then. But Tim and I will be back for NBA tonight. Tim and I will be back for NFL tomorrow morning. So we got lots of great content. Smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our shows. One last question before we get out of here. Jim Paris says, thoughts on Isaiah Likely? We both like him for tournaments. He was my feel it in the plums play today. I think he's going to have a very big day at low ownership. One last question from Steve Jones. Is it crazy to save a spot so in case Bateman plays, I can onslaught the Ravens? No, Bateman's a good play today. Nothing wrong with getting him in there at all. We'll see you for NBA later. We'll see you for NFL tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Smash that like button on your way out. On behalf of myself and Tim, we'll see you later. Peace.